Why do you guys think the Democratic Party has trouble attracting young men? I think that the aesthetics of the Republican Party fit your dumbass, young man very, very well. Don't think too much about it. Be the alpha. Fuck your feelings. It's exactly what you think when you're 14 years old or maybe 19 years old. That if you want people coming up to you and saying, hey, this phrase you're using is kind of problematic and maybe you should check your privilege. Nobody wants to hear that. Least of all, some guy who's 19 years old and trying to figure his life out. And once again, it is tricky to change the language on that, but that's the primary reason that the Republican Party gives very simple answers that are like hilariously specifically coded to what young men desire.
I think whenever we talk about a question like this, it's never any one thing. It's a whole modge podge of different factors that are coming together. And I'm trying to think back through my life. I was a young man during the Obama administration into Trump's presidency, and like how it has changed, because it wasn't too long ago that even among like young men, the Republican Party did not have those aesthetics. It did not reach out to them. They were the gerontocracy when I was growing up. Those were the old fucking people that were like totally out of touch. They were hyper conservative on family values, which the way Gen Z has changed with that has been very surprising to me. But at the time, that was not very appealing to young men. Nowadays, it has flipped. The Democrats are the gerontocracy. They're all the fucking old people who are out of touch. And what you're talking about with the simplistic messaging, that's also true. It was kind of like during the late 2010s where you really saw, or mid 2010s, 2010s in general, where you saw that like shift. And I think what Obama did was he took this energy for change and he did a lot. There was a lot of movement on the social side of things. Things that didn't really fucking matter all that much. And obviously things like, gay marriage, equality, that all fucking matters. But like what you said, hey, we're going to stop saying these words now. Nothing against pronouns personally, but like that became a signifier. That became a front-facing issue of the Democratic Party. And it's like, if you're a young man looking at what these two things stand for, one is very much more clearly appealing to you. It doesn't really matter. They're not going to look at the fucking facts. If they're looking at the facts, they'd be voting Democrat, right? But just hey, who is this supposed to appeal to? The Democrats have become the party of the college-educated white
professional managerial class.
The managerial class. That's exactly what it is, and those people suck.
Yeah.
As someone who aspires to be in that class, that and probably will be relatively shortly in my life. Those people suck. Everyone who is those people also agrees with this, that they suck. They're just not fun people to be around. There's a reason for that. There's very clear reasons for that, but it's not very appealing. If you're not in that world, you don't want to be in that world. And it sucks to hear corporate speak. It sucks to hear, they used to call it like social justice speak. I haven't heard that term, like social justice warrior, thrown around, but like, it's not fun. It's not pleasant unless you're like in that life. It's not very appealing. So like, that is a big miss by the Democratic Party, because they did not want to lean into economic populism. They did not want to do it. And so this is what we got. It was fucking toxic to a lot of people, young men included. And if they would have leaned into that more militant, anti-rich, Tea Party behavior, that aesthetic, they could have won. Che Guevara would have done great with fucking young men. Joe Biden does not. And that's kind of the issue that we have here.
Yeah. And Lovetron says, so how do you guys think we can change that? I think that the messaging doesn't have to be overhauled, but the messaging like shift the fire in a lot of ways. Because if you think about it, this is just for men in general, that if you go to your average man and say, hey, I'm going to give you, two different groups that you can support here. The first one, their entire message is, don't be a pussy, that's their entire message here, and the other one is like, hey, don't be too mean. all right, I don't know. I like the don't be a pussy one. Like that's the one that I'm going with. I want to show like how strong I am and what I can do. But if I'm spending all my time worrying about what I say and what I wear or about what my hair looks like, that's not going to be now that can still happen, of course, but that can't be your front facing message, or at least it can't be your only front facing message. Like you need something that's going to galvanize that. And oh, by the way, John, I'm gonna let you get away with this. Like you saying that you aspire to be part of the professional managerial class. You are. What were you talking about? Like this is.
No. I'm saying I am like on track to be part of. I'm still grunt worker. But like I'm definitely on that. That is my pathway in life. TJ.
All right.
Don't get me. That's where my parents come from. But like you don't get instantly there. They make you wait a couple of years after college.
All right.
You can pretend like you're part of the working class.
Then come on.
Then you go into the management.
So that's actually what I'm going here is that one thing that I've always been annoyed whenever people, how people will say that we're Republicans or right wingers, like blue collar TikTok has a weird one-sided beef with college TikTok, saying, oh, you guys aren't real men. You guys don't get your hands dirty and everything. I don't know what's up with that, but look, it's unfortunately a reality that a lot of people think that the Democrat, and in a way it's kind of true, the Democrats did say, what did Chuck Schumer say, that for every blue collar worker we lose, we're going to gain two people in the suburbs or something like that, that the message has gone away from, hey, these regular working class people with working class policies that help people in unions. And by the way, whenever people bring this up, because I've heard a lot of people say this, that, well, it's not fair for you to say that the working class abandon the Democratic Party because what you're saying is white working class. And it's like, no, like working class in every single group, Democrats lost votes this election, some more than others, but they didn't gain in any. So there's obviously a disconnect there between what the Democrats can offer or what they are pledging to offer people who aren't like us, who don't have email jobs and stuff like that. So I'm sorry, that's the reality. And the Democrats are kind of between a rock and a hard place because they can't push too much on the economic stuff because they are capitalists, which is what gives the Republicans an advantage.
Yeah, they need to just decide to put up or shut up, and it unfortunately seems like they're shutting up. That is unfortunately the route they seem to be choosing. Lovetron, by the way, thank you very much. We typically do this show, Lovetron, on Tuesday, so we're always inquiring for people to send us questions because we don't do prep for our Tuesday show, and we very much hope that people will do it for us. But Lovetron says, honestly, don't be a pussy is a pretty good advice nowadays. There's a lot of pussies, too many. And Lovetron, you could not be more correct. One of the big problems with Democrats is that they can win the don't be a pussy war. Like genuinely, Republicans are the biggest fucking pussies on the planet. Like, it is not hard to show what weak, weird fucking incel crybabies most of these people are. It's not difficult. It's very easy to win a don't be a pussy battle with a Republican most of the time. The problem is that in left-leaning circles, a word like pussy gets pushback from people who don't like that terminology, who like the 2010s Democrats, the people who said that that Bernie Sanders going on Joe Rogan was transphobic. Those kinds of people, and those types of people just need to be jettisoned into the sun.